Hi everyone, I'm really glad that you clicked on this link because I think you're going to find this brief screencast very helpful. So the purpose of this screencast is to go through a couple of common misunderstandings that have come up in relation to paraphrasing and referencing and how to avoid these. So whether you are in a foundational unit or an advanced level unit, I think you're going to find this screencast very valuable. And this is because, some students who have been in the program for quite a while into the advanced level units, they've been going along thinking that they've been doing everything right in terms of paraphrasing and referencing, only to discover they haven't, that they've been making errors in paraphrasing and in referencing. So in these important areas related to academic integrity. And as you can imagine, this can come as quite a shock. So just a note though, before we get into some of these few misunderstandings, this is not going to be a fully comprehensive breakdown of APA 6 referencing style or your responsibilities in terms of academic integrity. To get all of that other information, I would strongly encourage you to have a look at all the other information in this module. And of course, please go back to your prescribed textbook by Findlay for more information on the correct way to paraphrase and reference according to APA 6 style. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got up a Turnitin report. So this is just an example, a draft that I've uploaded in order to illustrate some of these points. So the first thing I want to draw your attention to is this big block of highlighting down here. So as you can see, it's quite a big chunk and it's completely highlighted. So I wanted to let you know that even though you have the reference here, even though I put the reference here, this is inappropriate. So this is incorrectly cited, because if you have a whole block of text like this that's come verbatim from another source and you haven't put it into direct quotes, it's incorrect. So the only way that you can take information or verbatim text from another source and copy and paste it into your own work is if you have it within direct quotes. So I would need to have direct quotes around this verbatim text at the beginning, at the end, and I would need to have the name and the date, and of course I would need to then have the page number. But what we prefer you to do, instead of using direct quotes, is actually to paraphrase all of this into your own words. Now, I know it can be difficult with some particularly technical ideas and concepts and definitions, and it's okay to have matching against specific technical words. So as you can see up here, I'm talking about different structures in the brain, and I've got the orbitofrontal cortex, anterior cingulate cortex, and the caudate. So these are all matching against some other source. And this is okay because you can't rephrase these specific words, So that's okay, that's acceptable. But what we don't like to see is this complete sentence matching. So there's been no effort here in this highlighted red section to paraphrase any of these ideas. So what we actually want you guys to do is express all these ideas and concepts in your own words. Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to highlight to you was this highlighted sentence up here in the pink. So having this sentence highlighted, as you can see, I've just clicked on the highlight there and it's brought up the source that it's matching against. So in addition to having the actual sentence highlighted, the reference has also been highlighted. So as you can see, it is characterized by the occurrence of, etc., etc. And after the sentence, the citation is included Franklin and Foe. So this can be misleading, and it's misleading because it indicates that in this case, I have taken both the sentence itself and the reference from another source. Okay, do you see what I mean? So it's taking this whole sentence, the definition of obsessions and compulsions, in addition to the reference, but in this way, I haven't actually referenced the source that this sentence came from, because this sentence and the reference are coming from another article entirely. Okay, and in this case, it's the article by Maloney and colleagues, and you can find that out when you click on this source here. It'll take you to the source that it's matching against. So if I want to use the reference Franklin and Foe, what I would need to do is actually go and find the article by Franklin. I need to go and find that article, read that article, and then paraphrase Franklin's ideas into my own words. So that's the only way that I could include Franklin as a reference here, is if I went and I found the actual article itself, I read Franklin and I summarized their ideas. That's when I can include Franklin in my in-text citation, and I would also need to include it in my end-text reference list. Okay, so the third thing that I wanted to highlight, and it's not present in this report, but you will definitely be familiar. So a number of assignments that you guys do include information in Moodle about those, whether it's, in Moodle or in your class slides, summaries, for instance, of different starting articles that you're going to use, or perhaps descriptions of methods, participants, design section, for instance, in a lab report. So even if information is presented in Moodle or class slides, you still need to paraphrase that information. So whenever information comes from any other source aside from yourself, it needs to be paraphrased into your own words. Okay, so this actually comes up a lot. So even if there's a very restricted way of writing a certain section, for instance, participants or design, you still need to make some effort to try and paraphrase that information and put it into your own words. Okay, so those are the three things that I wanted to highlight. And now I'm going to take you through a couple of ways to avoid making these errors. So the first thing is in how you prepare your assignment. So if you have different sources up on your computer screen, say you have an article, an ebook, and you have your assignment, they're all up on the screen at the same time. When you actually go to write your assignment, I would strongly recommend that you close all of the sources down so that they're not in front of your eyes while you're actually writing the assignment. And certainly, I would not recommend copying and pasting information from other sources into your Word document if that's where you're writing your assignment. So the best way to avoid these kinds of errors in paraphrasing and referencing is to close everything down. So close your sources down, go back to your Word document and start writing the ideas, the concepts from your memory. So it's highly unlikely, if you shut everything down and you go back to your Word document, that it's highly unlikely that you will use exactly the same words as your sources when describing certain ideas and concepts, even if there are technical terms included. So that's definitely the best way to try and avoid this situation. Because what we want to see in assignments is the information presented and expressed in your own academic voice. So that's what you want to try and cultivate, your own academic voice. So the second way that can really help in avoiding these types of errors is to really utilize your Turnitin report. So as you can see here, once you open up your Turnitin report, you'll see the matches, the highlighting. There'll be a tab on the side here with the matching overview, and you'll also see the percentage. Now, this percentage similarity index is something that also is displayed in the little summary when you've just uploaded your assignment and it generates the report. Now, I don't want you to pay too much attention to the similarity index because it can be quite misleading. For instance, if I had a very large assignment and say I uploaded it to Turnitin and I got a 5% match. Now you might think, oh, 5%, that's tiny. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't need to go into the report. But that would be a mistake. So you definitely need to still go into the report and have a look at the actual highlights that you're getting. Because even if you have, say if I had a large assignment, I could still have a problematic section like this in the red here that's matching an entire block of text from another source. Okay, and that's problematic. So that's why it can be quite misleading if you only look at the percentage. So what you need to do is click on the colored bar in the summary right next to the percentage, and it'll open up a report like this. And I want you to go through your own report and have a look where the matches are. Now, as I said before, it's not too much of a problem where you have matches against technical terms like this, like anatomy, for instance. But the problems start when you have matches against complete sentences. Okay, so this is what we don't want to see, these complete sentences here, because it indicates that there's been no effort to try and paraphrase these ideas. So that's what you really want to target when you upload your report into Turnitin. You want to upload it and see if there's any scope for improved paraphrasing where you have these complete sentence matches. So hopefully this has been helpful. I know that plagiarism and academic integrity is not exactly the most uplifting topic to talk about, but hopefully it's helped you see some of these common errors that have come up and how to avoid them. And of course, if you have any questions about this or paraphrasing or academic integrity, please contact your instructor as your first port of call.